what I'm going to say or been writing. Actually, I've been doing something, and
Recording in progress.
I looked at your um, the 5 day event. So I've got that open and thinking about what I'm going to say, and I haven't posted anything in the support hub. I did make a post uh, earlier this week, and I've got one written, and I just like it posted moments ago on LinkedIn. Um, so I haven't put it. I haven't don't have it in the support hub yet. It is just a short few words that I yeah that I've got in. Um,
Yeah. Do you have like a schedule or plan that you're working towards lately? Are you trying to post a couple times a week, or
yes,
how are you managing that?
yes, I you know it, I'm I must admit I'm a bit scattered. So it is my idea is that I want to post like my 3 posts, at least three posts per week. That is of which about 2 videos per week, because I thought if I want to be into videos, I should be posting videos, so not just typing stuff. So at the you know what the really the what's I don't know if it's holding me back, but you mentioned it in the loom. It is I'm new to this. I'm not bad. I'm new to this. So and I actually I like the writing part. That is not
Yeah.
it's not something that I just don't know yet what to write or how. So yeah,
Yeah.
I must say years ago, in the past, I've spent before I even knew about, I could spend 2 or 3 hours on a paragraph just thinking about what words to use in and the sentences, what sentences to use, and so yeah, I I like writing. It's something that I like doing.
Yeah. Well, I think couple things. I guess I like writing too, and I was probably a lot like you in that regard when I was first getting started, trying to figure out, okay, I like writing. Now, what do I do with that? How do I make it, you know, how do I make that work? And I think that's definitely one of the challenges. Um, as far as the being new to it, yeah, I, I, I probably couldn't overemphasize. Well, I think what I was going for there is don't be hard on yourself because it serves no purpose, right? Like you don't actually the purpose it serves ultimately is to slow you down.
Yep.
If you think you're bad at something, then you're probably not going to want to do it, and if you don't do it, you can't get better. So um, that's all. So I think um, as far as like, I mean, you've probably heard me say this before, but doing the writing is the best way to get better at doing the writing and knowing what to write about. It's like
Yep.
it's funny. I have so many thoughts going through my head right now. One that just came to mind, and you may have heard a version of it from me before because I tell it periodically. But like when I was thinking of starting online, I basically didn't get started because I didn't know I didn't know what my destination was going to be. Like I didn't know what I was really trying to accomplish. Just going online to, be my own boss or earn money or whatever wasn't, I just, that wasn't going to be good enough. because I also figured that whatever I started, if I wanted to get good at, was going to take me years to get good at. And I wouldn't say that I have regrets about my approach, because we all come to these things when the time is right. But at the same time, if you kind of know, like you're gonna, like I'm going in this direction, I don't really know what it is, but like I'm going there, then getting started and doing the work is the only way to go, because I definitely could have started sooner and would have benefited from that, because it's going to take as long as it takes no matter what. And if you wait, then you're going to just be older when you're done having learned the thing,
Exactly.
right? Um, so I don't know. I see a lot of that, and I really come to realize that, like, it's a really interesting conundrum, because I totally hear you. I can totally relate. I have my own hurdles, and it's funny. I've been working on a book that Blake and I are trying to put out in the next couple of months. About 73 pages I did, and I started tracking my word count when I was I don't know, 6 weeks into it, and I was kind of like, I just felt like I mean, I'll just keep telling stories till you want to redirect me, but um, I started
Please do.
I when I started writing this thing, I don't think I was arrogant, but I was definitely overly confident that my writing abilities would pretty easily get me through the book writing quickly. And as it turns out, writing a 73-page book has some meaningful differences from a Facebook post. And that wasn't apparent to me until I started doing the writing, and now it makes perfect sense. And I know a lot more about writing books, and I'm already kind of thinking about what the next one would look like, and from a process perspective. But one of the things that I did was I started tracking my word count every morning. A little bit. I don't know why. I mean, I'm a data guy. It's like I don't know really what my motivation was. Some of it was to show Blake that I wasn't doing nothing, because he and I talked about it a lot, and he didn't really have anything. I didn't really want him to read it, because it was not remotely digestible early on. There was no really form, and it just wasn't there. So I kind of was I started tracking the word count, and it was just fascinating. I was looking at it last night, and I'm a couple weeks out now. I've been trying to get some feedback from people, so I'm pretty much done with the word count isn't going to change much anymore. Um, but I had this line goes up for quite a while, different rates, but it basically goes up and then it goes down, because you go and you edit and you're like, okay, this is garbage, and these were placeholders and these were notes and whatever. And then it goes up and then it goes down. And there were two things that really stood out to me for that I just think are useful writing lessons. And the less important one is, you can't write and edit at the same time and do it well. You have to either be writing or you're editing, but you can't be creative and expressive and awesome, really, what it comes down to, when you're censoring as you go. Doesn't mean you just throw everything that comes out of your brain, but it's like, for me, especially at the book level, when you're writing big, just getting the stuff on paper is super helpful, and then you can go back and edit it. And I do that for posts too, especially when I get, like, a lot of times I'll get stuck. You'll be writing something, you're like, I know what I want to say, but I can't say it. And it's in those moments when I realize that I just push on through and I'll write whatever I have in my mind, so it gets me to the next thought. Then you can finish, and with these posts, they're not that long, so you can always go back and review. um so that's one, is don't write and edit in the same moment. You can do them in the same session, write for 30 minutes and edit for 15 or whatever. um but then the other thing is just the importance of showing up every day and doing that work. Like 15,000 words, or what is it, 17,000? Let me see if I can find it. um yeah, I've got it right here. It's a lot, right? And the only way you can do that is by showing up. And I just I just think that's a good lesson for any kind of writing. You know, it's not even just about, well, yeah, it's 17,000 words when I last counted.
I must say,
Um,
so what I was sitting here, I had something in mind, and I thought, geez, I must just get it out. I must do it, and I must hit the publish button, and do it. And it's going to be terrible. I mean, whatever. It's not going to be good. Whatever. And but for me at that stage, it's just the matter. It is doing it and getting into the habit in doing it, and learning along the way. And I've got your video that I referring to, and um, I think it was when you in one of your what I'm trying to say is, if I'm using your training there to make a point, but I'm always thinking of giving away too much information, or let me think it in this way. I would say like in a story, when I know something, I've done something where you're driving a car, or you're having you riding about a bike, and then you want to show somebody else how to do that, and suddenly I must think about how on earth am I going to teach a person to ride a bike or to take a photo when it's feels so elemental, it feels so basic, and that is
yeah,
so that is that's the kind of stories that I'm thinking of writing or doing. To give you an example, my older brother, he's also in agricultural land, and he never wanted to do videos, and he had no confidence in videos, and it took him a while to catch up to the whole video thing, and he got a microphone. He made his first video with a microphone, and it sounds great, but it took him a while, to many months, to get that far. And it's the same thing where I thought to write a story about it, how to get people. Hey Anna, welcome back. I thought I'm good.
Hello.
Uh,
Oh, I'm coming.
as you know, what I feel, the call with Todd is the one not to be missed.
I don't like to miss any of the calls. I
So
think
do
they're
I.
all brilliant.
Yeah. So do I. Um, but yeah, I because just like I think me and Anna, I feel are on the same sort of path. I don't know, but Anna is ahead of me. So the reason for what I'm saying is, I'm making the realization or thinking that writing and content creation and copywriting is absolutely critical. It is. I think you've said it in one of in the training, that 5-day event. The first few words, the subject line, and then the second or third line, and that's where I would spend a lot of time thinking of working out what the catchphrase would be. It's like a YouTube video. If the title is not appealing, people are unlikely to go and watch, unless you are somewhere like Marques Brownlee or one of those guys with a 15 million followers. They could just write anything on their profile. Is there something wrong with my video? Does it make? Because
no,
I see, because
Um,
I see.
yeah, because I have some stuff open. I'm gonna close it now, but this is why I'm like, yeah. I'll finish with this now.
Okay, because I see duplicates of myself on top of the video. Okay, now it's gone. Okay. No. So I feel it is the writing component. It's currently the thing that I'm struggling with. I won't say it's struggling. It's just I'm new to it, as you would say, Todd. I'm
Yeah.
new to it, and this is I feel this is the mountain that I would like to climb of the
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I think, I can't remember, I think I started down this path earlier and didn't finish my thought probably, but
It was you were
I
talking
think
about the
that's,
book and the 17,000
yeah.
words.
Yeah. And really, but where I was going though, still for, I keep coming back to this realization. I love writing, and I enjoy the craft. I think it is important to do it well on behalf of your marketing efforts for sure. The the thing that I I don't know that I have a great like I don't feel like I have the best way in the world to explain it yet, but I've mentioned it in that video, in a few other places probably, but like the the quality of copywriting is still less important than something about like you know the the knowledge that your product or service helps people solve a problem and make and then like operating from that point. And so
Exactly. That
I my message there is, obviously I love the writing. I think it's worthwhile endeavor, largely because it helps you with your own thinking. Like, it helps you as much as it will help your audience in the long run, because you will figure out, if you do it enough, how you think about things, how you solve those problems for people, how you solve them for yourself. And you were talking earlier about how hard it is to teach simple things sometimes. And it's like, that's where you get good at things more beyond writing. It's not just writing, but it's like thinking, it's being a leader in the space, it's being, genuinely helpful to people who have a certain problem. And so, I just, I think that's important, but you can only do that to a certain level, if you're not really focused on what it is that your audience needs and how you can help them, right? Like, that's the driver for good writing in my mind, which is still kind of a new concept to me. Like, I don't know why, because it seems so obvious in some ways, but at the same time, if you were to go write a fiction story, I would have no idea how to approach it, because I don't really know what the objective is, right? Like, it's not necessarily to help people, it maybe to entertain, or maybe it's to surprise them, or I don't know what it would be. But I would have a hard time writing a fiction story right now, because I don't really have an objective. But when it comes to like marketing, it's like, okay, I could look around my room and say, I could write something about selling a phone, which probably is the easiest thing in the world to sell now, because everybody already knows the value. But I get that, and I think that's kind of like my newfound challenge for people struggling with writing. I'd say that's the thing that's most come to my mind, where it's like, oh, writing's hard and telling stories and this and the other thing. And it's like, you know, you can do all that stuff, but if you're not connecting it with your market and the problem they have, it's still not going to matter. And so anyway, I think if you practice writing, if you do it regularly, and especially for you who feel like you're struggling with it a little bit, drop them in the thread and get my feedback, and I think the more, and I'd love your thoughts on this, but I think the more you do it, the more you'll understand me. And I have my own biases, right? Like you don't have to adopt all of my style or all of my anything, of course. But I put those frameworks out there and the concepts out there so that I don't have to think too hard when I show up to write. It's like I try to make things as easy on myself as possible, so that there aren't hurdles preventing me from doing the writing. Like, you got to do the work. Sometimes you have to fight through it.
I
Um,
feel sort of guilty for myself. It's my fault that I don't make use of your skill. It's I don't, I just I it is because I remember you've said that there were some other people, previous people that drops made regular frequent drops in and they have excelled, and that's always in my mind when I think about the writing, and it's every day. I think about it every single day.
Well, my goal wasn't to make you feel guilty, but if it changes your behavior, I'll take it.
No, yeah, it's actually it's a thinking and doing is two different things. But I've got a it took me a while to think about. So if currently I'm still on the estate agent realtor sort of thing, but I'm not fixed on it. It is. So I was thinking about the whole huge selection thing, and now my idea is if I take a profile of for example, an estate agent or realtor on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and they've got a property advertised, I can go on the profile and just see suggest a better way for them to present their property with content, with writing or video. So just to be very narrow in what I'm doing and what I'm offering, instead of just offering them how to build a mailing list and because I've asked a couple of questions and to people in Messenger, and one of the message I'm getting is organizing, time management, and personal branding, building a personal brand. But my idea is what I want to go in a direction is to get the right customer, to get the correct customer. You have to have your content. You have to have focused content, purposeful content. I want to go into, I think that's what I think. I want to go into the purposeful content direction, and by having purposeful content, get the right people to speak to you, and I mean that's probably everybody's doing that, the holy grail. But
yeah, I mean, and I think if I heard you correctly, I think the place where I would push you is I think you want to get to the commitment of who you're serving. It doesn't mean that you can't change it. I wouldn't change it every day, but I think, to my mind, maybe you think about either somewhere between 30 and 90-day windows, and it just depends. Like I don't know enough about the nuances of the market you're talking about to say like how long, but I saw that post on LinkedIn and you said something 11 years helping people find their dream hunting farm. Is that your current market, or is that the one you're debating leaving?
I'm debating leaving. Leaving. Okay, you know what at the moment is I've got a person who is a property valuer, a property inspector. So if you sell your property, if you want to put your house on the market, there is a legal requirement to inspect your house for any defects. So I had one guy like this. Then I had and I've got another guy who's a solar installer. And I've got a person who's an architect. So I'm all over the place.
Well, Okay, but these guys, they have something in common. Do they want to jump online with their business? Are they looking to enhance their marketing and sale ability online or not really?
Anna, thank you very much for your very good question there. It is I'm I'm currently in the mom and pop shop. I don't know if it's called. I'm not sure if I'm in the right place. I'm thinking about the helping mom and pop shops or brick and mortar guys, people like the solar installer to build a brand. That is where I'm currently my headspace in.
Online, because we
Yeah,
are talking
yeah,
here online. You want to help people with physical businesses to transition online
online.
and to like cultivate their online presence or something
Correct.
like this.
That is exactly what I want to do.
Okay,
So
this is good. Yes.
so for example, just building using video to build a thing. The four pillars that you mentioned in your live with Mudrag. So help people with those four, and that is because that is sort of what I was doing in the past. Is to be recognizable, know, like, trust, and using purposeful content to build the know, like, trust, to get the right customer, to get the correct customer to use stories from own experiences to get people in the direction. And not to do, not to do for me, not to do dozens of 20,000, 10 different things. Only just one simple thing, just one simple task that I help a person with. For example, evaluate their Facebook profile. I've got an idea what I want to do. I've got an idea, but I'm busy with it. It's just gonna take, as Todd mentioned, it's gonna take like 90 days busy with the thing, and then see how it works out.
Yeah, well, yeah, that sounds fine. Again, I don't feel like I have enough details to say yes, no, or whatever. Like, do this or don't do that. The one question I'm interested in though is, with 11 years of experience in something, why don't you want to keep going down that path?
Yes, I am thinking of going down that path. Yes, it is. Um, it is primarily the people that I'm messaging at the moment are people in real estate agents that I've spoken to also in the past.
Let's see. Um, okay. Well, I guess the thing I'll say that strikes me there though is you'll benefit from focusing. So to me, it sounds like, if I hear you right, I hear two possibilities. One is you basically stay where you've been for 11 years. My assumption is you have a bunch of expertise there, and if I'm going to call it property hunting or hunting property hunting, is that what it is?
Yes.
Um, uh, you've you've probably got a ton of expertise there that you're maybe not even aware of. Kind of like you were just saying, like teaching people how to do something, and you're like, oh well, I just know how to do this, but it's actually hard for beginners. I would think that you could keep doing that online, and emphasize the online and maybe branch out over time. But I would think that you could build that business up even better using the online skills that you have. And then the alternative is, I think this is a pivot that you're talking about, where you go to the brick and mortar types and help bring them online. And I guess in both cases, I'm not like to me, I think of your 11-year gig as a business that already operates, that has a clear outcome that you like, what the outcome is, what the inputs are, you get leads, you do your transactions, you get paid. So there's a plus there. The downside to me of the other one is it's it's pretty undefined at this moment. I feel like bringing brick and mortar businesses online and helping them build a brand is, obviously lots of people are doing it, which could be good, could be bad, but there's a lot of competition. But also, I feel like this, I will probably, or I may live to regret saying this on recorded video, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't think anybody wakes up today and says, you know what, I'm going to go build my brand online, right? I think
Exactly.
what everybody wants is for their business to kick ass, and if it happens to be online, great. That's like a place where you do business. But people are looking essentially to make more sales, right? Like that's what everybody's doing. Like that's the goal. And so it's a nuance. It's not really that controversial what I said, but I feel like when somebody comes up to me and says, I'm going to teach you branding, or I'm going to teach you how to build a brand online, I've had some people I respect walk me through that, and I have never felt better for having had the conversation. Like, I don't. This is a personal bias, so you should not listen to me exclusively. But I just you can't. To me, you can't eat with building a brand online, but you can eat with making more sales. You can eat by helping people find properties. And again, this may be a nuance. I don't know if this makes sense to you what I'm saying, but if you're going to do that, your tagline needs, in my opinion, shouldn't be help build a brand online, but it's like take your brick and mortar business online, or I'm going to level up your sales by, helping you online leads, or I don't know, whatever. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I rewrote my I don't know what you call it, my offer on Facebook. I just made in the short description part. It says I just build authority and consistent leads with purposeful content and video, book with a tidy with a calendar link. That's it. I could I debated there if I should have sales, or because there's only, I think you've got only like maybe 100 characters or 50 characters, something like that, to and that is what I thought, and I changed it on LinkedIn. I've got it with something like 30. I've got to offer 30 days, 30 minutes free video call. That is,
So you were just saying, like I see the intro. It says build authority and consistent leads with purposeful content and video on Facebook.
yes. That may be a bit confusing. It may be too high level for people. It's not. I feel the words are not. They are not direct enough. I don't know what the word is. It's not focused, probably.
Yeah. I don't actually have a problem with that by itself. It's not terrible for sure. And maybe it could be tightened up if you were like, this is for brick and mortar businesses, or, something about estate agents or whatever. Like, you could add that if it makes sense, but if it doesn't, I'm fine with it for now. Candidly, it's funny, I'm actually distracted, and I think Blake and I, we kind of review the clients, and he grabbed your page at one point. I think all of those items below there are a little distracting. I think, like,
I thought the same thing today. I thought there's too much.
obviously, this is redundant, so you should probably get rid of them. I mean, the advice I got, which to be honest, I never really gave it much thought. It made sense to me, was to have as little here as possible that doesn't directly drive business. So, like, what is this, Skype?
Yes, Skype. Yes. Nobody uses
like-
Skype anymore.
Well, I didn't know that for sure, but I've never used Skype. So, but kind of the thing that you should do here is pick the one destination that you really care about. If there is something other than Facebook, and have that, right? Like, you don't want people going to Windows Live Messenger and sending you a message if you never go there yourself, right? So, like, this thing should be focused on where you want people to go. And if you want them to go to Facebook, then get rid of all of it. If you want them to go to LinkedIn, I don't even know if that's an option in here. Maybe you put that. You could probably do it with the URL. But honestly, like, this is pretty good. You've got the one way to get a hold of you, and if people aren't dumb, they'll know that they can also just click message. And, like, those would be the two things that should stay. I don't mind leaving, like, where you live. I think that can be useful for people if you want the the regional push. If you'd rather people, like, I mean, think about it. If you don't want people to know you're from South Africa, then maybe you get rid of it. But either way, I don't mind having a couple items. I think mine actually might have one or two more things than I wanted in there now. I cleaned it up at one point. I don't know. Like, this is actually what I wanted. I don't know why I left this in here, because every now and then it gets me some, like, these are deeper connections. It covers a lot of ground, right?
When I saw it, it's authority. I saw that's authority.
Yeah, mine's not. I'm not really selling stuff any moment in this way, but but at the same time, people can get half a clue where I'm going. And again, it's don't necessarily model mine, but that does remind me.
I have an idea. I put it in the chat. Can we work around this and change it?
Okay.
Like, let's change Grove's bio, because it's not.
Yeah, and so
it's not doing anything for you, really. I mean, it doesn't mean anything, to be honest. So, like, Todd, can you check what I wrote in the chat?
I saw it.
Maybe something.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and here's the thing: we can spend the next 20 minutes on this copy and make something maybe that sounds a little nicer.
But as long as he doesn't know what he's doing, it will not work.
If this isn't actually what you're doing, then I don't want to spend the time on it.
Agreed. Yes.
And you don't either, right? It's more like you need to spend the time getting really clear about what hypothesis am I going to test? Am I going to help people build authority and consistent leads with purposeful content and video? Because that could be a coaching program. You could do that. But to me, it's a coaching program, right? Like, I don't know if that's what you had in mind, but
that is what I had in mind. Yes.
Okay. The only way to deliver that really is either coaching or a course, I think. I mean, I don't know what else there'd be. So it's one or the other. Makes sense that it would be coaching program. So that could be a coaching program. If you don't have that coaching program right now, and that's what you want to do, then you need to build it. And you need to bring the coaching program details to us. Bring it to Blake, bring it to me if you want, even Mike. I think that would be the suggestion. Alternatively, if you look at Anna's write-up, I help brick and mortar business owners multiply their sales by 3x, transitioning their business online.
If you refresh my page, I've done it. Anna?
That's it.
I was just trying to write something that's something that's catchy and that will get people interested.
Yeah. So the thing is, how do you do that?
Okay, it cannot fit into the bio, but
No.
also we don't know how it's done. Yes, also we don't know this.
Though. Yep, I'm asking not for the intro. I'm asking you, when the first person comes, into your Yahoo Messenger and says, "Hey, how do how do I want to 3x my sales online? What are you gonna do?"
Um, yeah, that's a good question. That's um, I will introduce them to. I will first evaluate, see what they are doing at the moment, but yeah, it's a bold claim to say 3x your business in
Yeah, but you can push them toward the 6FA always, but you need to be making bold claims, because if you make kind of claims, maybe I can help you do something online if you call me, but you have to be really bold, I think, because otherwise you will just go, you will be lost in the noise.
exactly.
That's what I
So,
believe.
so there's a time and a place where I agree 100% with what Anna said, which is why I let her finish, because I think it's important that you hear that, Grove. There are different views on this. I think, first of all, I think for this intro here, I personally don't think you need bold claims. You need clear claims that are, ideally, they would be unique and, what is it? Simple, unique, and measurable would be ideal. So if you can, if you can legitimately point to case study, or you've got data that says I can 3x your business, then by all means put it there. If you can't, I personally don't want that, because if
But if
somebody
he pushes them towards the 6FA, then it becomes reality.
I guess, but I don't have any data from 6FA that says 3x is a thing. Like, I'm just saying, when you pick a number in my world, you need to be able to back it up. Some people may think otherwise, and that's what I'm saying. You can choose, but I guess what I'm really getting at here is, I don't need the intro of your Facebook page to be a sales page. I just need it to be clear what you're going to do for me when I message you, or when I read your content, why I would do this. You know, I don't want to overstate this thing as much as I want to overstate you figuring out what your thing is. And even the point that Anna is making is something that I think is a concern. If you're like, I can help you with this because I've got a framework and I do coaching to help people do this, but if you push me too hard, I might push you to 6FA. That's not a great model, and I know, because I've done that. That's how I started my career. Was I, in SAA, I was like, well, I've got this thing I could help you with, but if that doesn't work, I'll send you here, and if that doesn't work, like, I never, I wasn't committed. I wasn't committed to helping people specifically. I was hoping for a sale, basically, and there's a big difference. And so I feel like the
That
only way I
sounds
know how to say
accurate.
this the only way I know how to say this is simply, and sometimes I don't know if it has the weight that it needs, because, again, I don't care too much about the copy in your intro. I care more that you are crystal clear in your head of what problem I want to help somebody solve, and then how I'm going to help them solve it. So to me, I see, honestly, just, again, I don't know enough about what you do to say this with authority, but I'm going to say it the way I think of it. I imagine that you've got 11 years of experience, that if you sat down for, I don't know, let's call it 8 hours over the course of a couple days, spread them out, and you think about it and you chip away, you could come up with some frameworks that are like, this is my special sauce methodology for how I help people find the properties they're looking for. I make it really easy on them to find them, to have options, to know that they're not getting screwed for whatever appraisal, bad title, whatever you guys do over there, whatever it is. Here's all the things that I know about doing this well. This is my framework. I wrap it up in, 5 pillars, 4 pillars, pick your number, whatever. This is how I do it. And I can teach you how to do this. that would be one way to go. I guess I'll stop with the details. The point is, you've got a bunch of expertise you could wrap up on this thing. You might find it boring. You might not be sure how to go online. Maybe it doesn't fit your online model. I'm not sure why you're veering away from it. The alternative is this kind of idea that you've now got on your page, which says something like, brick and mortar to online. I feel like you have less experience doing that. You have less knowledge. So if you're going to do it, you're going to need more time to put that framework. But if you're going to do that and you're going to call this a coaching program, my belief is that you should commit to that. You should put your program down on paper. And when it comes to like building a coaching program, it doesn't have to be crazy, like many hours of material and this, that, and other thing. It just needs to be a plan. It's like, hey, when you come in here, brick and mortar business owner, we are going to set up your Facebook profile, your LinkedIn profile. We're going to keep it clean. We're going to work on intros, right? We're going to get the copy for that. We are going to figure out how to reach out to your best audience. We're going to figure out how to communicate with them through, both of the messengers and email, whatever it is, right? Like these are the things that you're going to do, but you need more than anything, when somebody asks you what you're going to do for them, you need to have a plan that you're just like, boom, this is the plan. This is how I'm going to get you from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow. And that is what you're going to buy if you pay me, my $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever the number is. And so until you know what that thing is you're committed to, your intro doesn't matter to me. I'm not saying it's useless, but it's kind of useless. Because if this brick and mortar 3X thing, if you don't have a plan for how to get people there, then it's an empty promise, right? It's just window dressing. It doesn't actually mean anything. Does that make sense?
It does, and you're right. My whole idea, the whole thing that I've got is the build authority with video, because that's what I've done. This is the thing that I've done and that I know, and that I took a deep dive into ChatGPT, and I asked a couple of questions there, or made a suggestions, and the response was, I would say, very good. It gave me a framework, not the perfect, but it gave me a framework of what I like to do. It is a thing that I wanted to do, but it wrote it out to me in like 7. I asked it, for example, for give me 7 this and that, and it wrote it out, and then I could go into number 1 and expand in number 1 and number 2 and number 3, and it just gave me a good framework.
Good. Yeah, and so to me, building authority, I forget what you had in there before, like that's that can be good. Like you can totally build around that. The only thing I'll say is keep remembering it, and then you do get into fine-tuning copy now, but like just don't forget that in the end, some people will buy how to build authority, but more people will buy how to get hot leads than they will building authority, right? Or how to make sales. Like in the end, just remember what it is that people are trying to accomplish, and make sure you're delivering something that helps them with that. Because this, honestly, the authority thing to me is the same as building a brand. You have authority or you have a strong brand. In and of itself, I don't care about those things as a small, solopreneur kind of thing. I think brands matter when you're a big company, and I think most people mean well when they use the word branding, but I'm just saying I want leads and sales more than I want brand and authority.
That's exactly that got me to coaching and searching. Is my words was, how do I find more leads and sales? That's it. And if it's done through building a brand, that's great. If it's doesn't really, at the end of the day, it probably less important if you could have if you have leads and sales through personal connections, or that could also be, but it's about leads and sales. at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's fair too. Like again, if the somebody comes, like, let's just say you just said I help people build kick-ass brands here, and then somebody says, hey man, how do you do that? How do I build a kick-ass brand? And your basic framework says build an audience, get a bunch of leads, make sales. Like that all works for me. Like I don't, to each their own how you kind of dressed it up, copyright, all that sort of thing. My main thing that I'm really pushing for is for you to get crystal clear that you are solving somebody's problem and they're going to be happy to pay you for it because you solve it well. And just like the writing that we were talking about at the beginning of this call,
Yep.
you're not going to be perfect at it today if you haven't done it before, right? So like you need to kind of do the work. Your writing will actually help you with this because now you start to address the framework that you just created. You start to shift the beliefs around building an audience, getting leads, making sales. Again, I'm putting words into your mouth here, but like if that's where you're going, then you start writing about it. You put a few slides together. You come up with an intake form for your future customers. You think about what are my 6 sessions that I have with them going to contain, what's a flow that makes sense to have, even if you don't stick to it, which by the way happens quite often in one-on-one coaching. You'll like have this framework and somebody will be stuck at some place and you got to jump around, but at least you will have thought about it and you'll be like, these are the 3 to 6 things that I know we need to address in order to solve these problems. And again, the more you do this, both in writing and in preparation to serve people, and hopefully you get clients, and maybe you offer free clients or you do a free training that replicates some of it, like all that kind of stuff is how you have something of legitimate value that you believe, you've got confidence in, that spirals on top of itself and allows you to basically make the sales yourself. Do what it is you're trying to teach your people to do.
Yeah, that's true. I feel I have something that it's what I've done in the past, and it's now I feel like with the writing, it puts the, I've got, what do you call it? I've got the bones or whatever you call it. I've got the skeleton or something. I've got the toe, and I've got the toe bones and the feet, and I'm putting all the parts of the skeleton together. So
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Well, good. I think a takeaway from today, though, is really get clear about what offer you're going to commit to, and just go for it. You got nothing to lose except whatever 30 to 90 days.
Yeah.
And you're going to lose it. You're going to lose it either way, right? Those days are going to pass. The question is, how much value are you going to get out of them? Are you going to learn something important? Or are you going to be in the same spot as you are today? So, I'm gonna give you a hard nudge to really make a commitment to something. Like you can sell 6FA, by the way. Like you don't have to create your own thing. Like I'm not advocating one way or another, other than that you make a choice and you narrow your focus to one thing, because if you don't, your audience can't keep up. Like they can't.
I had a guy, one of the people I had a call with Mike, so trying to get him into 6FA, because I thought he would have been, because he was doing quite a lot of the things that I have been doing, and he was quite advanced. I mean, I don't know advanced, but he would have been a good fit, I think. But yeah, he had a call with Mike, and he didn't. Yeah, it didn't work out.
I see. Well, yeah, and to be clear, like, there's nothing wrong with being opportunistic when you spot an opportunity. No worries. But I'm just saying, with the limited time that you have in a day, you want to be focused on one offer, and you want to be confident that it can deliver results. Then you want to go find the people who have that problem so that you can connect the dots, right?
Yeah, it's like many years ago when I was when I came from South Africa and I got to the UK, United Kingdom, London, and I started off working there on just any job that I could get, digging trenches, whatever, anything I could get. And after a while, I've been doing it for a while. I just thought, there's somewhere out there, there's a desk and a computer with my name on it. I have to go out and find it. It's not gonna come to me. I have to go out and search for it. I have to go out and seek and find it. So yeah, it's same thing. I have to go out and seek and find people who are looking for help. And
Right.
some people don't know that they need help. They think they don't. And it's also then a matter of writing in a way, I think, to show people that there is help, they need to help, and they can benefit from it.
Yeah. Well, and if you watch that day 5 video of mine, it talks a little bit about that. And go back and watch that part. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's probably in the first third to half, about the stages. And I would say the people that don't know they need help, I wouldn't really be writing for. You know what I mean? It's like, if they don't know they need help, it basically means they don't know they have a problem. And when you're really good, I think you can go after those people. But until then, go after the people that know they have a problem they want to solve. Like, look for those people. Like, give them that starting point and say, this is who I'm writing to. It's somebody who, and I always think a good audience member to write for is yourself, 3 months ago or 3 years ago, depending on what you're doing. But
that's what I mentioned earlier. Also, pardon me. So I mentioned something about learning something that you've learned. I'm thinking the same way. How am I going to write or think something that I didn't know 6 months or a year ago? I have to try to reimagine myself in the questions that I had before I joined 6FA, or even like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, well, and if you've not heard me talk about it, I'll mention it again here. You should have a Spark file. You should keep a document running of ideas for when they come to you when you're not actually in writing mode. Keep track of those things. And I was going to say this towards the beginning of our call. We were talking about writing stuff in general. You can't do this until you make your commitment. What am I selling? What problem am I solving? Once you know that and you start talking about finding the people, there is a group of people out there who has the problem you're talking about. And there are, like, I don't know, any number, but 3 to 5 core beliefs that they must have or they must not have in order to agree to get help, buy the thing that you're offering. And it's not 300 and it's not 500, whatever. It's like, it's a handful. It's less than 10 for every market. Doesn't mean they probably have more than 10 problems, but like, your solution is going to focus on like 3 to 5 core beliefs that say, you know what, now that I know I have this problem, I know there's a way to solve it, this feels like a good way, I'm in. And so once you kind of know what those things are, you don't have to, you'll wonder less about what you were just talking about. You don't have to kind of go back and try really hard to remember what I was thinking 6 months ago, because you'll just be focused on the beliefs, and you'll hear stories from other people that you talk to will give you ideas. They'll be like, oh, I don't understand this, or I don't even know what I'm looking for. And you can use all of those things to help inform your writing. And so, like, if you're not keeping a Spark file of some kind, that's something you should be doing for sure.
I've got a file where I got gazillions of ideas, and but my thought was, if I've got the ideas about things that I want to write about in videos and and that I wanted to learn myself. But I'm thinking of, if I go and make videos and talk about the things, it's gonna look scattered.
Well, that's why you need the core beliefs. Like you should put that in a separate document or at the top of your document and say, these are like the 5 things that my audience must believe to buy my service. And then you take all of your notes, and every time you start to write something, you look at those 5 things and you say, I'm going to attach it to this 1 or 2 items, and I'm going to force it. I'm almost going to force this idea into that bucket. And sometimes it'll suck, and sometimes it'll be awesome, and quite often it'll just generally do the trick. But that's kind of how I think about it. Because I get what you're saying. You don't want to be writing about this, and this, every day. It's something different. Again, nobody's going to come to you because it's too hard for them to envision what you're going to help them with if you haven't done it for them. If you haven't been really clear, this is a problem. This is how I solve it. This is the plan I use to get you from here to there. That's what you're after. If you don't read Blake's emails regularly, you should.
I do read them when it always feels like it was written for me.
Oh yeah, you said that before. That is high praise. And yeah, and don't just read them, but take just a couple minutes to dissect them. See if you can figure out what the core belief shift is, or just see if you can break it down a little bit and see how those emails guide you to an action, or just how they steer you along. There's nothing mindless about them. They are all driving to some kind of point, and usually the written word starts with the point, and then you work backwards from that almost.
There was one of the emails he sent recently was about repeating simple tasks and just repeating the simple task, and it was something that I did previously before I joined 6FA, was just to do the simple thing and just repeated it every single day for weeks and months at the end, and it took about 9 months, and then I would see something happening. So yeah. And that is what my post today was about. But yeah, it is. Yeah, I like Blake's got some very good writing.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there. All right, I gotta jump. I got a meeting coming up.
Thank you, Todd. Thanks for your time. Yes, I am.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for showing up, and I appreciate your input as well.
Anna, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Ciao,
Bye.
bye.
Thank you. Good weekend. Bye.
Have a good weekend all.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.